tell me, what's your name?
Becky Fisher.
And what was your story about how Hollywood got its name? Your story about how Hollywood got its name.
Well, I think everyone's quite aware of it is because the Zavala girls were beautiful, two beautiful girls, and it seems like every pageant or wherever they needed a beautiful girl, they were always there anyway. So they were just like Hollywood people. So anyway, that's how it got named Hollywood.
I heard from Jimmy Campos, it was another theory was there was a film shoot in one of the creeks, and they had a war scene that they filmed in a creek here. One of the studios from Santa Barbara, and that's how it's got its name.
Oh, really?
But maybe Jim Campos said there are many stories. Do you know Jim Campos?
Oh, yes, yeah. He lived there on 9th Street. The Camposes were from 9th Street.
Well, let me pause this a moment.
In that creek.
I thought it was because of the girls.
That's, see?
All the beautiful girls.
Yeah. Neighbor Richard Hotchkiss said him and his buddy, they went to a class reunion. And then he says, oh, let's go check out, you know, they're again. Let's go check them out.
The girls.
And then they said the ones that they thought, you know, at the time that they were after. And that's the same thing they said, I'm glad I didn't marry them.
And the other guys are that way, you know, you say,
I said, hey, que no cambien ellos or they don't get old.
Really? That's right. They're always sending the girls. We all change, you know, but they said that, you know. They didn't marry her, you know, and they didn't. They had short hair now, you know, and colored it black, you know, and so if they hadn't told me it was those them, I wouldn't even recognize it.
Well, you know, actually, I'm really surprised when somebody says, "Oh, you're Becky," and it surprises me that I said, "My God, you recognize me?" Because I have no idea how it changed in their eyes.
Yeah,
you know.
That's true.
And I said, well, in fact, I remember when I saw Willie, I stopped. I said, "Hi, Willie." And he says, and so I took my glasses off, and he goes, okay, now I recognize you. And they always say to me, it's your eyes. He says, your eyes don't change. And I said, well, you know.
No, you don't, Rebecca. You still look the same. You still look the same, you know. Just a little stress.
Arrugas, but what do you expect? You know, that's what when I tell my son, ay, todas las arrugas. Quit complaining, Mom. Quit bitching, complaining. He says, you're healthy and you know, whatever. He says, don't complain about that. I said, okay, I will.
But you know, Rebecca, those were the good old days.
Oh, yeah.
They were the good old days.
You know what? This is why I said, if we have those good memories, that's something to hold on to.
That's what keeps us going.
Exactly.
That's what I tell my kids. That's what keeps me going. To remember the good old days, you know, when the Carpinteria was like a western town.
Yeah.
It was like a western town. Put us orchards and walnuts and
yeah, when they had that story, you know that story about the caballo blanco. There we go.
Remember we used to go play on the haze in Ohio?
Yeah. Anyway, so and I said that I remember I used to go over there, you know.
Me too.
Anyway. My niece's grandfather, well, she's married to my nephew, can't even remember, Steve Rosa, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, her grandfather used to work for Caballo Blanco. Okay, I'm trying to Williams and whatever his name was. Okay.
Like that.
So, and she told me, she says, oh yeah, my grandfather used to always say that he used to say there. He says this beautiful little girl, and I said, whoa, you know, and you know, he says there was anyway. It turns out, you know that, and he said, well, that's when she told him. He says, well, that's the aunt of my husband, you know, trying to connect it. But I remember going over there, it was so pretty. Guayabas, I used to find the guayaba trees. I think try guayabas.
But I remember the stuck the hay que hacían, real stuck, you know, and we'd go in the evening
climb
to
up
get to the top.
Also remember when they used to do the lima beans and when they pile it up to get up to the top and you know.
And we'd slide.
Yeah.
The next day he'd come around and check up on the good and nobody was around.
Yeah. Or were you ever when they had the tomato fights?
The tomato fights?
Yeah.
No, that one I didn't
I went one time and I shouldn't even bother because I was too young.
Mona would have.
Well, anyway, no, I went. I remember. I don't know who I went with, and I was afraid because those guys were getting kind of crazy, you know. And then that's when they used to knock over toilets and stuff, or garbage cans, and anyway. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh! I said, my parents find out that I'm out here, they're gonna kill me, you know. So I thought, how do I get home? I was so afraid. Because those boys they're kind of rough, you know.
Oh yeah,
they hit you with a ripe tomato won't hurt you, but if somebody hits you with a green tomato, they're going to knock you out, you know.
They don't realize that it can be hard.
Yeah.
And so forth, but
then they finally didn't allow that anymore because they were, like I said, they were. And I can't remember who I was with, who I went with, and that was the one and only time.
Yes. Oh, but I love those years. Remember the stockings they used to bring us for Christmas? They used to park right in front of Ray Goena's house. Ray Goena's house.
Doña Chonita. Oh, yeah, such a nice day.
Yes. Y ahí nos daban una little media, a little stocking, Christmas stocking. I remember they used to do that, and that's what we got. But at the time we never knew about segregation. I didn't realize it.
That's what I was trying to tell him.
I didn't even know.
I said I never felt any different or anything because they keep asking me, did you feel this? And I said I wasn't even aware of it. I guess.
Well, I wasn't either.
And then I said, and then when they did put me in the 8th grade, in the main school, when they, I said I was never treated bad by anybody,
I wasn't either. I didn't even know we were segregated.
Yo tampoco. Unless, como dicen, if I wasn't too smart, I didn't know. Como dicen, ignorance is bliss.
No, but you know what I think of it is, it's the innocence of a child.
Well, that's it.
It's the innocence of a child.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And to us growing up, we were innocent.
Yeah.
We didn't know the difference.
No, we didn't. No, I have to say that for myself.
We were innocent.
I didn't realize it. I didn't know.
And so forth.
But then there again, a lot of times when I thought to myself, which I never thought about it, when we were still in Aliso school in the Requejos, remember when the Requejos moved to town?
Yes.
And Margaret was in my class or something or rather, and I remember that the teacher asked me to go outside and help Margaret with her English.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, God, they must have thought that my English was pretty good to be able to, because I didn't realize it either. A lot of things you're not aware of.
No.
And so I thought to myself, they must have thought that I knew enough, to interpret or whatever, and I remember that mostly when I say, okay, a chair, a table, the door, and that's how we started it. But yeah, I was teaching Margaret how to speak English. And I thought, I couldn't have been much better myself, But obviously the teacher must have thought so.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the way I did it. We never knew the difference. We never knew that difference, No. That's what I think back at it. I think back at it.
You're still not connecting with her?
No, I'm recording.
Oh, are you?
Okay.
Oh yes, he's been recording.
Have you been recording what we're saying?
Yeah, he just left us here gossiping about the past. I got it right away. I got it right away. That's right. Yes, and because now my chance to remember. Now my chance to remember what I got.
We're going to be recording, okay, and then in the end, I'm going to edit.
Oh, edit it, yeah.
Edit it.
Did you hear that?
I wasn't listening
Oh,
to it
no,
at
but
all.
I'd have to hear this. It just occurred to me. when I was in Liso school, the teacher had me take out Margaret Requejo to teach her English.
Okay, that's one thing I told him that it's a subject with everybody, the segregation at Liso school. So we can talk about that, but right now we're going to ask certain.
Well,
maybe in a group thing.
they're going to
group thing. Everybody has different memories of that.
Well, the thing is that she and I agree. We were not even aware.
Oh, no, it doesn't matter. Because that's part of Carpinteria.
Yeah.
We didn't.
We all know that.
The innocence of our childhood growing up.
Exactly.
We didn't know the difference. We never knew that. We never knew the
So what
difference.
should they talk about first?
I want.
He was part of the
Yeah.
Okay, I think first, who your parents are and how they came here. How did they end up on Paper Circle for each of you?
Well, I don't know because I was born here in Carpinteria, and there were 8 of us in the family, and I was the third to the youngest. So I don't really remember very much because I was just born here, and all I know is growing up, as I grew up, that Carpinteria was like a western town. There was nothing here but orchards and walnuts and beans and stuff like that, you know. And then I went to school, so with Aliso School, which was the first school I knew. I didn't even know that this is the innocence of a child. I didn't even know we were segregated. See, growing up, I didn't even know the innocence of us. I didn't know we were segregated until later on, you know. And like Rebecca says, that sometimes we have to, but we knew English though. We did know English, but there were people that didn't know English, you know. And then we had to teach them how to speak English. And of course, my parents didn't know English. Did yours, Rebecca?
No.
So,
My parents didn't.
Rebecca, where did your parents come from and how did they settle in Kramer Circle?
Well, let's see. I think from what I hear is that they came from my father's family originally from Spain.
Okay.
And I guess his parents settled there in Mexico, and they came from Jalisco. My father basically is a Heinz 57. We've learned now that he was English, Irish, Spanish, and Jewish.
Wow.
Okay, my mother, on the other hand, I guess was she's Aztec Indian. That's me right here.
So what's your maiden last name?
My maiden name is Rosa.
Oh, okay, and
Gonzalez.
Okay.
Okay. And my ancestry came too, because one of my nephews made a background on back of an ancestries too that came.
Yes.
They came from Spain.
Yes, yes.
They came from Germany. They came from Spaniards. So when I go visit around my trips around the world, they've even asked me if I'm Oriental. And when my nephew looked up our background on that, I even have German in my blood.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Well, anyway,
I tell them, and Indians too.
Right.
Says, you name it, I've got it. When they ask me what my nationality is, you know, you name it, I've got it.
Exactly.
Because you got long nose like the Spaniards. Like those, and my eyes, you know, and so forth, and like an Oriental.
So what do you both remember about Kramer Circle? Well, what was it like when your parents were there and you were growing up there? What businesses were there in Kramer Circle, or the families that were there that you remember?
Well, we only had the store of Osuna.
Yeah.
Poncho.
Osuna Market.
He was the owner of the store, Poncho Osuna.
And they had a pool hall, the Garabay's pool hall, he's related to Lobero, you know, from Lobero Theater.
Santa Barbara?
Yes.
He also related to Garibay.
Garabay's, yeah.
Garibay.
The auto shop.
Yes, that's
where the auto shop.
That's all that family.
That's all in the family.
In fact, I think that auto body shop that
Bobby has.
used to be.
That's where the
shoemaker was at.
well, zapatero. Yeah, yes, he was. But it was a pool hall and a shoe shop.
So I think Rosie Hymas was Bob's wife, Rosie Hymas, and I think she still rents the place because it's under her husband's name.
Which one?
Bob Garibay.
Oh no, that's not her. No, that would be my. They're actually my niece and nephew through marriage, but his wife, Jeannie, is Villalpando Macias.
Virginia?
I'm sorry?
Virginia?
Yes,
Bob's
yes,
wife?
yes. She's my niece.
She runs a tight car shop.
Yes, yes. She's quite smart, really. Very intelligent.
And I also was told that in Kramer Circle there used to be a baseball field in the middle of
Now that's what I was told.
Yeah, me too. I don't remember that.
I'm sorry?
I don't remember that.
Can you describe it?
Describe.
What was there?
baseball.
Oh, see, I don't recall the baseball. It was my sister-in-law is the one that told me, and it's in its history where her brother was a big shot baseball player. Do you remember that, Robert? The Velasquez's?
Gerald?
Was it Gerald Velasquez? He was a big baseball. Anyway, so I was told by her, Sally Macias, that the circle in the center was a baseball field. Do you remember that? See, I don't remember that.
I don't either.
In Kramer's Circle. That, well, this is what
I remember Aliso School, that's where they played the merchant, Aliso School.
Well, but like I said, when she told me that the center was a baseball field, it's where her brother and all of them practice, and I was not aware of it.
Okay, but you remember the Zapatero and the pool hall?
Yeah.
Market.
Osuna Market probably is the main, Osuna Market was on one side and in the entrance, and the Garibais were on the other. And they had the...
Were you there when Kramer Circle was broken up because of the freeway that was built? Or was that already?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we lived there.
Yes.
What was that like?
Oh,
Devastating.
I hated to leave Kramer.
Yeah.
It's such a nice place to live. It was the barrio.
Devastating.
They used to call it the barrio in Carpinteria. And our house was right in the middle of the freeway, so we had to move. We had to find a place to.
So was your house knocked down, or?
Yeah, because the freeway is there now. The freeway. Every time we go to the freeway, it says, "This is where we used to live. This is the spot where we used to live." And so.
What about you, Becky?
Huh?
What about you? Do you remember the freeway?
Being split, yeah. At that time, I was living with my sister, which is now Villarreal.
Excuse me. Could you hold me down a little bit, the production going on?
Yeah, all I remember is
Tell them we're recording.
when it went through, actually, we ended up with just a smaller circle up on the top, but the VRL. Yeah, and...
So what were some of the families
So
at
we
that time?
were so close. We were so close. Everybody knew each other.
Yes.
No doors were closed, no windows were closed, no nothing.
No.
It was like we were all family, Rebecca.
You never locked or closed anything.
No.
You could leave your groceries in the back of a pickup, your
Yeah.
car. Nothing was ever locked or closed.
No fights or nothing, but you know that we had difference of opinions
Very
against the neighbors.
peaceful.
Nothing like that.
I don't
We
remember
were not
that.
like a family. We would wake up to the crowing of the roosters and the chickens and all the kids crying and so forth, and that was like music to my ears. To hear all the kids and the mothers, come inside, it's time to have breakfast, or come inside, it's too cold, and so forth, and it was so nice. We were so united.
Now, I know you mentioned there was the Garibay that had a pool hall. Was it other pool halls in Old Town at that time? Maybe on Carpinteria Avenue?
I think that was the one that I recall. It was the only pool hall that I know of. Do you remember Ali Olivas, don't you?
No.
Oh, you didn't? The councilman? Oh, okay.
I know.
Of him.
Tell me about Ali Olivas.
Yeah, he was.
He was a fireman too.
Yeah, he was pretty well known here, and that whole family. They lived well. They lived on the upper side of where VRL is. In fact, where VRL is, I guess the old house is still there.
They're still there.
Where they lived.
And so he was a city councilman? And what did he do for a living, and what was he like?
He worked at the fire department, and he also had a paint shop. He was excellent. Everybody sought him out because of his, he was very good at paint jobs, whatever he did. Really? Custom paint jobs. But he was a fireman by trade. And you know, he moved to Oklahoma, and he's a big shot there, or he was. When he went back there.
He went into politics and went back.
Yeah, he went into politics.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I think his story, and maybe I'm wrong on this, was that he didn't graduate from high school.
He didn't?
Did not.
Most of them didn't. I know that a lot of people complain. Well, you know, there again, a lot of people complain that they didn't graduate, but during that time, because of the Depression, a lot of these kids had to go to work.
And a lot of them went to war as well, I understand,
yeah.
like really young, 16, 17.
Wasn't one of your brothers a fireman too?
Yeah, Nick.
Nick.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, well, Nick and Ollie. I got pictures. They were very close friends.
He was a fireman too.
Yeah, he was a fireman.
So your brother was a fireman also?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
When he died, I have never seen so many people. He was honored by everybody in Carpinteria. Even the fire department was there, and everything. It was something. I was astonished at the
love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many people showed up for his funeral. It was something else.
So we still have relatives and all that because my nephew Tom Martinez, he became the chief.
That's right.
Of the fire department.
Yeah.
And he's retired now. He's retired now,
Yeah.
so we still stayed here in Carpinteria and ran places, you know, around town.
For both of you, what was the most significant event that happened in Old Town in Kramer Circle when you were there growing up? What was the most, something that was a lot of impact on you that was, not that so much that was significant, but it was a big impact on you? Living in Kramer Circle.
To me, it was the closeness and the friendliness, which now is so, you know, I mean, everybody seemed happy. We were poor, but we don't even remember that we were that way.
I don't think, as I said, I don't think we were aware
that we were, because we were always happy and helping each other.
But you know what I find is that I think that everybody's like a brother and sister. Everybody took care of each other. You felt very safe there.
Very.
Because I
count on your neighbor.
I remember Ray Goena. He was like a big brother to me. Not that I didn't have enough brothers of my own, but he was always there to help me out. And it's just a very safe feeling.
And who were your brothers and sisters, Becky?
Who were my brothers and sisters?
Right.
Okay, Connie, Mary Lou, who married two brothers, the Caudillos, and then my oldest brother was Joseph, Nick, Henry, Robert, and Jess, and anyway.
All Rosas.
All Rosas.
How many were there of you?
9 of us. Five boys and 4 girls. 4 of them went to the service and 1 didn't make it back.
And your mom and your dad, what were their names?
My father's name was Seferino Rosa. My mother was Mary.
Okay, and for you?
Mine was Nexamina and Juan Gonzalez.
And your brothers and sisters are?
Gosh, I've got, well, they're deceased now, but he's one of my brothers right there, my baby brother. He's one of my brothers. And there's my brother over there too, my brother Joe.
What's the names right now?
Okay, I had my brother Louis. Gosh, I can't even remember no in order.
How many were there altogether?
8.
8? Oh.
2 sisters and 6 brothers. And 6
family,
brothers. Yeah. So he's right.
He's the baby?
He's the baby.
Oh.
And he's the second to the oldest. My brother Joe. And that's my brother Fred. That's the second. She's younger than I am. The baby who went. And so forth.
Could I have you tell the story again of how you think Hollywood got its name, or different stories about that?
The only thing that I'm aware of is the reason it was called Hollywood is because of the Zavala girls. which were, as I said, every time they had a pageant, a parade or something, they were always queens or princesses. And
were they beautiful?
oh, they were
Beautiful with red hair.
Beautiful.
And of course they were Mexicans.
Okay, who did the Zavala girls marry? Anyone from Carpinteria or?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, but they were.
Do you have any photos of them?
Oh
No. No.
Because I understand it was
You know, there might be in the, you know, the historical thing right
The museum?
I'm sure they
museum?
must have something
In
there.
the parade and all?
My
Yeah.
understanding it was the Zavala girls, but there was also other beautiful women that lived in Hollywood. And I don't
No, well, I don't know who.
primarily the Zavala girls.
I think basically it was the Zavala girls. Yeah.
Well, and Victoria Robles came later, because she was pretty too.
Yeah, but
Victoria Robles, but she
yeah,
came
but
later.
that was after
later.
I was already named.
I said Jimmy Campos told me another story that a film was being made in the creek from a studio in Santa Barbara, and they had a war scene in the creek, and then they referred to it as Hollywood because...
That's understable.
Yeah, I think I heard something about that.
See, that's understandable, but I was, see, there
before my
again,
Yeah.
I've never heard that until you told me.
Yeah,
But
I've heard
I can see it.
I've heard
yeah.
that before, that they made a
The
movie.
filming came after the Zavala girls.
Yeah,
Correct me if
yes,
I'm wrong.
that the
Maybe they're
movie.
reinforced.
Yeah, the movies,
So, I mean, we know that if you speak to someone and you mention Hollywood, we know what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Zavala girls.
We were born and raised in Carpinteria, so
Yeah.
we know, our families know, that's Hollywood. Hollywood is 9th Street.
Yes, 9th Street. Somebody, was it, you're the one that said it's Reynolds? Or
Yeah,
Julia,
Reynolds.
no, Julia said, no, I says, no, it's not Reynolds. Reynolds is the one that goes
Across.
between
Across.
Carpinteria,
Just that little road.
and 7th Street.
I
Just
just found that out.
But that is,
Because
I'm a retired mailman. So all this, yes. So I know all the streets and,
What was that like? Did you deliver here in town?
oh yes. I did all the routes. Started out as a rural route carrier, and then I switched to city carrier, so I knew every route and I could do every route in town. First female carrier here.
What was it like? Were people nice? Was there any intrigue or?
Oh, always. First of all, they didn't think I was old enough to be working. You know, say, what are you doing? They were surprised to realize that I was older than I looked. And carrying the rural route, I had to use my car and drive on the right-hand side, and with my left foot, I worked the pedals. And when I had to get on the freeway to get to another section, like when I got through in the Rincon Point, you know, to get back, several times the highway patrol would stop me. And they said, oh, what's going on? And so, you know, I tell them, and they just said, of course, they didn't know what to think or what, they just said, well, we don't have any rules or regulations on this. We have no idea. Other than they said, you just be real careful. I said, I am. But I delivered from Rincon Point, you know where Bates Road is, clear to Lambert Road, this side of Summerline. So, yeah.
Do you remember the floods, the flood of '69?
Well, I was one of the ones that got flooded every time it sprinkled. Yeah, I pretty bad. And it finally stopped when they took part of my property to build a canal. And since they built the canal there, I had no problem. People used to think it was this creek that overflowed, and that's how I got flooded. I said, no, it's the water trying to get through from Linden Avenue and, you know, all those foothill. There was nowhere for that water to go. So it would go right through my house. And
that's when they made the canal.
Yeah, and many houses. In fact, my neighbor, they said that they sat on their kitchen counter, and just watched pots and pans just go right through. Yeah. And what I did was I just opened the garage door and the back door and just let it go through, sleeping bags and whatever was going in, just sweeping through.
Were you scared?
Not really. Maybe I didn't have the sense, any sense to be afraid.
Do you feel like the authorities did a good job afterwards, or?
Oh, I was grateful. I mean, I didn't like to see part of my property taken, but I was sure grateful that I no longer got flooded. because there was a lot of damage to my house.
And why were you no longer flooded?
Because of the canal, the water was able to go through to the creek.
Yeah.
And which one is that? I need to change back.
Franklin Creek, okay?
Franklin Creek.
But see, when they built all those houses there, homes there, they didn't account for where the water was going to go.
When they built the houses?
All those houses, you know, from Linden, you know, all those, from Catalina School on, you know, all of those houses. There was
9th Street?
9th Street? No. This is over the, on the overpass.
Okay.
That's the Linden Avenue overpass, and then all those houses over there was no place for the water to go. They didn't account for it. So here's water coming from Franklin Creek, you know, the foothill, Linden Avenue, and nowhere to go. And I'm at the end of the street, and the water is nowhere to go. So here's kids in boats, rowboats, diving off the fences.
Really?
Yeah, and anyway, so that's when they decided that there was not enough. They had to change things to get the water into the creek. As I said, many people thought it was the creek that was overflowing. It wasn't the creek. It was the water trying to get to the creek, and it had nowhere to go but through our houses.
Good story. Okay.
You want to get someone else?